So equipment wise for today, we need some dumbbells. So if you've got a couple of light heavy ones, because we're going to be working on some split squats, progressing those. And then we're going to actually be working on some handstand press up work, which you don't get to do very often. I'm going to take you through a couple of drills that we're going to go right back to basics. So even if you've got handstand press ups, this is going to help drill in the basics so that we can increase those number of handstand press ups you've got. If you haven't got any, then this is going to help build that muscle strength to be able to get them. And I've also got a couple of little drills at the end, which I'll show you that you can practice at home just to get that wrist strength up for handstands, if that's something that you want to do. I know that the class before, once I'd given them their little drills, I could see all of them desperate to turn the computer off. So I'm going to have a go at them and see if they could do them or not. And I think I've already been tagged in a couple of Instagram posts, so feel free to do that if you want to. So it's going to be a slightly different one for today. It's not so much a Metcon, it's all looking at that strength with split squats. We're going to look at some tempos, and then like I say, we're going to go into these handstand progressions. Cool? So grab your dumbbells if you need to, and then we'll get into this warm-up.
Happy and in fit with flexible SA construction. Simple production. Your four-legged friends this Christmas with one wacky video from J&L. 2014-99 from Asda. What's the range of logo?
Good. Oh, let's just wait for Andrew. There he is. Andrew. Cool. So just to get nice and warm then, guys, we're just going to go, no, you can put the dumbbells down for a second. Just going to go for 3 reverse lunges. So you're going to come down, let that knee just touch that floor, and come back. It's going to go for 3. Good. Once you've hit 3, you're going to come into the top of a press-up position, and we're going to go for 3 scat push-ups. So you're going to relax those shoulders down, and then push up. We're just going to go for 3. You see, the more you know about the stars, it's never goes out the walls. Around the box or a chair, we're just going to go for 3 box press-ups. So think about the nose hips nice and low, point down, and then back up again.
Manchester City kicks off a great weekend. Sky Sports got the Handstand Sports.
Good. Once you hit those, then we're going to go for 6. So 6 reverse lunges become 6 scat push-ups, become 6 box press-ups.
Is that 6 on each leg?
No, just 6 in total.
Okay.
So then they become 6 scat push-ups. So keeping those arms nice and straight, relaxing those shoulders and bringing those shoulders back together. And then they become 6 box press-ups. Good, then they become 9. Good, and scat push-ups. And then 9 box press-ups. Then finally, you're going to go for 12, final set. Good. Our shoulders should be feeling a little bit warmer now. Shoulders and legs. That's cool then. All right, guys. So the first thing that we're going to have a look at is going to have a look at our split squats. So if you've got something to elevate your rear foot, you can do so. If you don't need to worry too much about it. So we're going to go for some tempo squats, and we're going to hold our weight in our goblet squat position, okay? So you're going to come on to the dumbbell. So you're going to have it in this goblet squat position. From there, you're going to send one foot back. Like I say, if you want to, you've got something, you can raise your foot, you can do so. If not, you're still going to get a workout from it. So we're going to be going 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. And we're thinking, counting to 3 on the way down. 1, 2, 3. And then 3 on the way up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So thinking about keeping that knee not coming over that toe, keeping that shin nice and straight. We're going to go 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. Then we're going to have a 60 seconds rest, and we're going to go for 5 rounds. So you can increase the weight as you go, or if you want to, if you've got a weight that you feel comfortable, you can just stick to that for these 5 rounds, okay? Go in, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Guys, keep these chests nice and high, get that weight over that central. And swap sides. Well done, guys, looking good. Last 10 seconds. Good, and rest there. We've got 60 seconds rest, and then we're going to go again. So you can increase the weight slightly if you've got one. If not, you can stick to that same weight that you've got, but just make sure you stick to that tempo, keeping that time and tension. Ready in 30 seconds. Big nose going in. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Good. Just watch that knee, Andrew. That's it. Yeah, bring the foot out slightly. Good. Think about sitting back on that heel. There we go. And swap sides. Good tempo, guys. Well done. Last 10 seconds. Keep that chest nice and high. Good. 3, 2, 1, and rest there. We've got 3 more sets to do. And then in 30 seconds. Going in. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Good, Andrew. Try and keep that chest nice and high. Much better. Good, Gav. Just watch that knee. Try and sit back. There we go. Good. Swap sides. Well done, Dan. Looking good. Last 10 seconds. And rest there. We've got 2 sets to go. Thirty seconds. Get ready, guys. You're going in. 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Remember now, as it's getting tougher, to keep that tempo. 3 seconds on the way down, 3 seconds on the way up. Well done, Andrew. Much better with that knee. And swap sides. 2, 1, and rest. Well done, guys. We've got one more to go. Twenty seconds, guys, and we're going into that last set. Going in 3, 2, 1, off we go. Well done, guys. Stick to that tempo. Swap sides. Last 30 seconds. Last 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Well done, guys. So what we're going to have a look at next is we're going to warm up our wrists and bits and pieces to go into some handstand work, okay? Then what I need you to do is ideally you want a lightish weight to work on some press sequences that are going to help with these handstand press ups, okay? So if you've got 2 dumbbells, ideally you want to go for the lighter version that you've got. Just because we're going to be spending a little bit of time in a hold before we go into some presses. So especially for the first round, we want to go a little bit lighter, and then if it feels okay, we can then start to increase that weight. Okay. Camera wise, just make sure everything that we're going to do now is going to be sat on the floor. So just make sure that I can see you guys in that seated position. It's going to be a lot easier. I'm going to move the camera forward, but if you feel that you can't see me, or just shout out and I'll be able to try and demo it a little bit differently. Okay? So all we're going to do to begin with is going to come down onto the floor. We're just going to start to warm up our wrists for these movements. Okay. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to come onto all fours. Oh, guys, if you've got a watch, you probably want to take it off. Just because it restricts that movement, that range of motion. So we're going to come down, we're going to have our hands facing forwards, and then from there, all we're going to do is going to come over those wrists, and then you're going to push back. Now, it's really important to push back through those fingertips because it's starting to use that full range of motion with your hands, which is really important when you're in handstand handstand positioning, because you can move your body weight through your fingertips. So we're going to come over and then push back. So we're starting to warm up those wrists, but we're also pushing back on those fingertips. Okay, so you're going to go 10 forward, and then you're going to move your hands behind, so your wrists are behind, and it's going to come back until you get a little bit of stretch, and then come back over. Okay, so we're going to go 10 forwards and then 10 backwards. Good. So make sure you're pushing through those fingertips, making sure you're putting a little bit of weight over those wrists, and we're starting to get that feeling of that weight over those wrists.
When we turn the hands, do we lean forward or lean back?
You want to lean back more because you're just stretching those wrists out, and then you can come forwards out of the stretch, but just make sure you're stretching back. So don't go too far. Good. Once you've done that, guys, you're going to clap those hands together and just going to roll those wrists down. So make sure your fingers together, just clap those hands together and just roll the wrists. And then you're going to then take those fingertips, you're going to clap fingers together and it's going to roll. Good old 80s dance movement. Good, then 5, we're just going to get into a plank position. We're going to go for that forward leaning lunge. So you're going to come into that plank position with your hands facing forwards. And all we're going to do is we're going to come right up onto those toes and start to move that body weight over our wrists. And we're just going to hold for 20 seconds. So we're just starting to move, make sure your body weight's coming over those shoulders, okay? So we're going in 3, 2, 1, off we go. Move that position, move that shoulders right over. Looking good, guys? And 3, 2, 1, and rest there. So for today then, we're going to start looking at developing that muscle set for these handstand press-ups. Like I said at the beginning, some people haven't got any, some people have got a couple, but start using those muscle sets to be able to develop them so we can get a few more going, okay? So all the movements we're going to do for today are going to be seated, so that it's so we can't use anything but that upper body movement, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to grab that dumbbell and we're going to bring it into this front back position. But what I want to do for today is you're going to bring it into a 90-degree angle. So you can see from here and my arm. And what the first movement is, we're going to hold in this position for 20 seconds. So this position would be the bottom position of that handstand press up. Okay? So we're going to hold here for 20 seconds. Once we've held there, we're not going to drop that elbow, we're then going to press up. So you're going to come up to that in and back down into that position, and we're going to press for 5. Then we're going to swap onto the other side, okay? So 20 seconds hold, 5 presses, then we're going to go on to that other side. 20 seconds hold, 5 presses, keeping that elbow nice and tight and tucked in, okay? So you're going to grab your weights, going in, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Good, so elbows tucked in, guys, stay nice and steady with it. 5 seconds. Good, and into those presses, so 5 presses. Good, keep those elbows in, so we're going to swap sides. And into that hold, off we go. Try and keep that elbow in a little bit, Gav. That's it. Think about keeping that core nice and tight. And into those presses. Good. We're going to start looking at adding some body weight movements onto our wrists, okay? So we're going to be doing those presses in between each movement that I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So if you want to increase the weight as we go, now you've done that initial one, if you feel you can go a little bit heavier, then you can do so, but I promise it's going to get a little bit cheeky, okay? So the first movement we're going to have a look at is we're going to have a look at the bottom position of that handstand press up, but we're going to start to add our body weight over our hands. So we start to get that feeling in those wrists and that pushing back feeling in our arms, okay? So you're going to have your hands set up like you would as if you were in in that handstand position, so just slightly over those, wider than those shoulders. And you're going to have your toes tucked under. Now, in this position, then you're going to come down into the bottom of that press position, so into that right angle position, but your head's going to be hovering off the floor. From there, if that feels okay, you're going to take those knees off the floor and we're going to push back into that bottom position, okay? Now, what's really important to do is as we push back, it's not to arch our back. So you want to think about rounding those shoulders like we do in that cat position, okay? If you think about it, when you're in a handstand position, if you arching that back, those hips aren't going to be pushing against it. It's going to be pushing against that lower back. If you round and stretch that shoulder, you're in a completely straight line. It's easier to push away, okay? So I'll show you again, because we're going to go for 5. So toes tucked under, come to that bottom position, head just hovering off the floor. You're going to lift those knees up, and then you're going to push back with those hands into that bottom knee position. So in this position, knees off and push back. Okay, so you want to push back through those hands, but keeping that shoulders nice and round. So you do that for 5. Good. Put them down. Good. So from there, guys, then, if you want to grab a heavier weight, you can do so. We're going to go back into that hold and back into those presses. Okay? We're going to have 60 seconds rest, and then we're going to go into those again. So you can grab, you've got time now to grab a heavier weight if you want Right, guys, are you ready? So we're going to go back into those presses. In. So hold 20 seconds first, then into those presses. Going for 3, 2, 1, and hold. Good, stick with it, stay nice and tight. 3, 2, 1, into those presses. And keep that elbow in as much as you can, Paul. I know it's a bit hard with a kettlebell. Good, we're going to swap sides. Into that hold. 3, 2, 1, off we go.
It's not criminal damage.
Those presses. Good. So this time then we're going to look at that wheel that we just did. We're going to try and develop it ever so slightly. Okay? So what we're going to try and do this time is we're going to try and lift those hips even more. Okay? So every stage that we do this, we find that it's a bit too difficult, just go back to the previous stage, if that makes sense. Okay? So you're going to have these hands positioning again, your knees very close to your hands. Back into that bottom of that press up position, and then from there, this time, as you take those knees off, we're then going to extend our legs, they're nice and straight, and then we're going to push back as far as we can, okay? So, how we progress that then, bottom position, this time our knees and legs are straight, and then we're going to push back the foot. So just adding a bit more weight and a bit more tension over those shoulders. But remember to stay in that rounded position rather than letting that back go. So you're going to go for 5. Well done, Gab. That's looking really good. Well done, Dan. Good. Good. Try and keep those elbows in. Right, looking at that pike press up in that reverse, working that lower section before we go up, because it tends to be a lot of people get into that pike press up position, and as they go down, we're arching our backs and we're losing that tension at the bottom. So this way, we're building that tension at the bottom and pushing back. So it's like doing those negatives on those pull-ups. So it's working at that tension at the bottom and then pressing back up again, okay? So we're going to go into another set of those holds and then into those presses. So if you want to go heavy, you can do so, or you can stick to the weight you've got. We've got about another 30 seconds and then we'll get into them.
Can you do something about this? It's down. I have to use the bathroom. That one, right?
10 seconds, and then we're going to go into that hold. 3, 2, 1, it's that hold position. So make sure you've got that right angle, guys. Don't want to be here. We want to move that weight out so you've got that straight line. And into those presses. Good. Sides.
Lovely.
And that hold. Good, and into those presses. Well done, guys. So again, a little bit cheekier, a little bit of those holds. So from there, then we're going to have a look at that pike press up positioning, okay? So we're not going to go on the reverse this time. We are going to start in that pike position and we're going to go forwards and then we're going to come back out again. So if you're finding that that's too difficult, just go back to that starting on the floor positioning and pushing it away, okay? Some people find that their wrists and bits and pieces start to ache as we start to put more weight over that shoulder positioning. So what we're looking for is our hips to get as high as possible so they're over our shoulders, which are then over our wrists, so it makes it a more better positioning to be holding in, okay? So what you're going to do, hold on, the camera's gone funny. So what we're going to do, guys, is you're going to come onto that pike positioning. So you're going to have your hands up, you're going to have your feet nice and wide, and then in this positioning, what I'm going to do is come right up onto my toes so that my hips are as high as they can over my shoulders, okay? So I'm going to come up into this positioning and I'm keeping that nice round position. I'm not relaxing back, I'm in that round positioning, staying nice and tight, and then you come forward as far as I can, and then I'm going to push back onto my heels. So up onto my toes, roll forward, keeping those elbows in, pushing back onto my toes. Onto my heels, okay? So you're going to go for 5. Looking good, guys. Slow and under control. Think about keeping those elbows nice and and tight. Think back, keep those hips nice and high. Well done, Dan. Try and keep that round position in. So we're going to have 60 seconds rest, and we're going to go into that last set of those holds and presses. And then we're going to look at progressing that, if we can, to raising our feet up onto a box or onto a sofa. So we're getting even more of that body weight over our shoulders. So going in, 3, 2, 1, back into that whole positioning. Good, into those presses. Elbows in. Good, then we're going to swap sides. And off you go. And into those presses. Well done, guys. So finally then, if you can, how you're going to progress that then is you're going to grab come into your sofa, we've got a box or a chair. What we're going to look at doing is try and progress these handstand press ups. So the first position will be onto your knees, and then if you can progress that onto your toes, okay? So what you want to make sure is with the handstand press ups, there's a little trick to know how far your hands should be away from the box, okay? So when you've got that knees on the box, your hands should be 2, 3 hands distance away, okay? So hand close to the box, then you know 1, 2, and then move your other hand. That's how you know how close you should be to the box. Then from there, you want to come right up onto those knees, same position before. So we're not in this position, we're curling that back up. We're going to come down as far as you can, and then press back up again, okay? If that's too difficult, then obviously you can come down and go back onto that floor positioning. So we're looking to go for 5. If that feels okay, you can come up onto your toes on the box so that your hips are even higher. It's entirely up to you, but we're just going to go for 5. Well done, guys, looking good. Keep those elbows nice and tight. Well done, guys. Well done, Gab. Keep those elbows in. Andrew, round those shoulders a little bit. So keep that chest locked down. So come into that hollow positioning. That's better. Here we go. Good. It'll be easier to push back on. Well done, Vincent. Good, Dan. Good. So working those basic movements, even if you've got handstand press-ups, will help you progress that muscle set to be able to get more than you've already got out, if you know what I mean. So it will help with those strict positionings. A way that you can progress those when you're at home, if you're thinking that you want to work on this muscle set, another good movement to progress those presses is bottoms up presses. So when you're in this position, when you've got that kettlebell, if you turn it up the other way, so the bottom way is up and then press, you're fighting against the movement of the kettlebell as well as that press. So it's a good way to progress it. If you've obviously, when you start to do those presses and they feel okay, if you're limited to weights that you've got at home, turn it upside down. It will give you a whole new challenge to keep that kettlebell under control as well as pressing, okay? But it really will help with those, not only those handstand press-ups, but it helps with those press-up movements as well. If you're looking at holding this, holding out here with that kettlebell, that dumbbell, and then those presses up and down. Final thing that I was going to go through with you guys is a lot of times with these handstands, it's about confidence of being upside down and confidence in your body being able to hold your body weight on your wrists. So there was one little practice that I was getting the other guys to do, which you can have a play with at home. If you want to take a picture, tag me in it, whatever you want to do. But it's just, I think they used to call it a kettle stand or something in gymnastics, I can't remember, a teapot stand or something. It's quite a good fun one that you can have a practice at home because you know that the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to come forward. So if I see you all guys on the Zoom call tomorrow with red spots, I know that you've been practicing, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to come down into this position, and then from there you're going to try and get those knees into those hands. And then from there what you can do is you can take one foot away, put it back down, take the other foot away, or if you can try and start to take 2 feet away. And all it will do is start to push through those hands and start to find where your body weight is, and you start to move. But it really does help with building that confidence of being upside down or having that confidence to take your own body weight if you're not too confident doing it. So you can say like one foot first, then the other foot, have a play around with it, see what you like to do. Look at it, one's started already, I can see it, it's hilarious. Everyone's like, that looks all right, I'll give it a go. Oh. So guys, it was a slightly different class for today. Obviously, it's what I enjoy doing, teaching that gymnastics side of stuff. So if you do have any questions, just let me know. Or if you want any other tips and bits and pieces of those handstand work, I'll be happy to help you guys out.